Hi, I'm Greg with RCDriver.com, and this is video number 2 of our Get Into RC video series. Now, in this video, what I want to talk about is the radio system. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably new to the hobby, and perhaps you just picked up your first RC car, and most likely it has a ready-to-run radio such as this. I want to go over all the different features, basically the anatomy of your ready-to-run radio, so you know what the radio system is all about. Now, you've already probably figured this out, but this is your steering wheel. You turn it left to go left, you turn it right to go right. Now I have a tip for you. The more you turn it, the more you try to turn it, it doesn't turn any farther than where it stops. Don't try to force it because I see a lot of new people break steering wheels. So just be careful. When you feel it stop, just stop. All right, number 2, this is your handle here, and this is where you hold the radio system, obviously. Most ready-to-run radios are for right-handed people, so you take your right hand, you put it on the steering wheel, and you hold the transmitter with your left hand. Now, if you're a lefty, like my son is, what he does, actually I taught him how to drive right-handed, but I've seen a lot of people that are left-handed, they take the radio, they hold in their hand like this, they put their finger on the trigger, and they put their hand over the top and they steer the radio like this. There are some left-handed radios out there. You might have to purchase that as an optional item. So, you know, if you're left-handed, you could try to drive like this, over the top, whatever is comfortable for you. All right. So let's talk about some of the trim features. So this particular radio has these trims right here on the outside. They're small little dials, and there's a throttle trim here and a steering trim and a steering DR, which stands for dual rate. Now what these trims do is they basically trim the car. So let's say you have a steering trim issue. When you drive your car, it should track straight. Now, if it doesn't, if it veers off to the left a little bit or to the right a little bit, you could use this steering trim to dial it in so it goes perfectly straight. Your throttle trim, something similar. If you notice the car is moving forward a little on its own and you're not touching the trigger, you move the throttle trim until it stops at 0 and doesn't move on its own, and that's how you know your trim is set properly. Now, the DR, the dual rate, that stands for how much the steering throws either way. So the dual rate actually does that in a combination, so it will, let's say if you turn it up all the way, that's 100% steering throw. If you turn it back a little bit, it'll have 90%, 90%. So if you have too much steering, you could dial it down. If you don't have enough, you dial it back up. Now on the back of this radio are the steering and throttle reversing switches. So what that does is you put your car down and you drive it forward, you know, when you first get it out of the box. And if you turn right and it goes left as you're going away from you, that means that reversing switch is probably backwards. And it does happen. Even though it's ready to run, it's supposed to be set for you. I've seen cars come out of the box where left is right and right's left. So, and people actually learn how to drive like that. So the proper thing to do is when you first get your car, set it down on the ground, drive it away from you, and turn it right, turn the wheel right, and if it goes right, you know that your your reverse is set correctly. Now the throttle reverse, similar to the steering, when you pull the trigger towards the handle, that's forward. When you push it away, that's backwards. I've seen a lot of people not understand that concept. When I worked at a hobby shop, people didn't know how to move the throttle. It was interesting, but it does happen. So that's how it works. Pull it towards you for forward, push it away for backwards. Now, if you pull it towards you and it goes backwards, you're going to use that reversing switch. So when you pull the throttle towards the handle, it goes forward. Something else to keep in mind is the throttle is proportional. Okay, so you don't have to go full throttle. It's not an on-off switch. You know, there is a proportional throttle there. So you give it a little bit of throttle, the car will go slowly. You give it a lot of throttle, obviously it'll go fast. So, you know, when you first get your car, you place it down on the ground, just go nice and slow. Just give it a little bit of throttle and get used to the car. Okay, so now this is generally the main body of the radio. This is where your electronics are on the inside of it. We've gone over the handle. Down here is your battery compartment on most radios. We have battery compartments on the bottom of all these. That's pretty much where the batteries are stored. This is the battery door. Now, if this falls off or this breaks, get a replacement or place it back on the radio. I've seen so many people go out without the battery door on their radio system. They're driving around and the batteries just fall out of the bottom, and you know that could wreak havoc on your car. Your car could keep going, whatever. Always keep the door on and make sure you have fresh AA batteries inside. Okay, now we've got the on-off switch. You just have to see where yours is, and most of them are labeled. Now, most of the radios also have some sort of LED indicator to let you know that the radio is on, and make sure that's lit up before you try to go drive, or before you turn on your car. Make sure the LED is lit. Some radios, they have different color LEDs. So some just turn on and they're red, and that just indicates that they're on. If the battery drops to a low voltage, they'll blink. Some radios, they'll have an LED that's green, and when the battery goes to a low voltage, it'll either blink or it'll go red. So just keep an eye on that LED indicator. It kind of just helps you out with making sure everything is working properly. And that's about it. Like I said, this is the trigger back here. I showed you how to work that, the steering wheel. And that's the majority of a basic entry-level radio system here. I think I got it all covered. If you see a little antenna such as this on top, that's your antenna. If you have a stick that folds down, that's a folding antenna. Make sure it folds up. Now, when you get into higher end radios, there's a lot more involved. There's a lot more buttons and screens and menus inside. We'll cover that way down the road. There's a lot more to take care of and just the basics, so that's what we want to get you into. But that's the basics of a ready-to-run radio system. Now you should be able to operate this with no problem. Really hope you enjoyed this video. If it helped you out, please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more of our Get Into RC videos. We have a lot of fun making these. We love getting people into the hobby. If you have any questions or comments, please throw it in the section below, and we love to get back to you. And if you have any tips of your own, maybe a pro RC racer or an experienced RC driver is watching this and you have a tip to offer to our audience, please put in the comment section. We want to build this RC community even more on RC Driver's YouTube channel. And of course, if you need any more information right now, you could head over to rcdriver.com.